Hello everybody, welcome back. Yes, we've unfortunately had to replace Rose, and it's my pleasure to have Matt on the cast.
This is probably the first time that you've casted with somebody you have banned in your Twitch chat. This is probably the only time.
I unbanned you the other day.
Okay. That's nice.
Yeah, you can now type in all caps only and scream at me in my chat. It's going to be a good time. Yeah, it's unfortunately Road had a few issues with the internet, so yeah, Matt's subbing in from his dungeon as we jump into the first map. Matt, Samoa picked by Peps. They also banned Juno and a ban of Mauga on the side of Qadsiah.
Yeah, I gotta say, we obviously did EWC last year that had the hero bans. It's awesome to see that now in OWCS and really kind of taking into form. I think Juno's obviously going to be a hero that is pretty contested in the ban phase pretty constantly. But Hazard, just with the impact that he's having in the tank role, I think you'll see kind of things that enable those types of compositions gone as well. But like we just saw in the last series, right? Like Lucio Kiri definitely back on the menu.
Yeah, anything that's like, you just got to go fast, man. Kiriko's still pretty damn good. Like, the ult is still insane, but against the Ray, you probably take the Ray. I was mentioning to Rose earlier, Matt, like, even some teams in Japan, if we see like a Lucio band, it's like Kiriko Juno, but we have seen a little bit of Ana too. There's a lot of flexibility in the backline right now, which does feel really good. And that added layer of flexibility too when things do end up getting banned. And classically, probably a lot of Hazard play from both teams.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's kind of what we saw at EWC last year, right? When the hero bans were introduced, right? We saw all different types of compositions come out. Teams are going to have to, practice different things, so, target ban against certain opponents, right? Especially now that we're in more of a league style format as opposed to, before we were in groups and then just a bracket, right? You're going to be playing some of these teams consistently and have a lot of footage on being able to watch them. So it'll be interesting how the, bans, adjust over time, but we can jump right into the game here.
Yeah, Team PEPS rocking out on the Hazard. No surprise there. We'll get Ken and Ice flipped around in the next lobby. Of course, Ice should be in the center there, but it's all chill. Yeah, still Soj and Matt. After the buff on the Soj as well, been played a lot more. I would imagine if the Soj didn't get buffed, that railgun increased damage, it probably would have been a lot of Ash, but yeah, there you go. That's exactly why the Soj was buffed. And Zerion is the first to fall for Team PEPS.
Yeah, Sojourn always on a knife's edge in terms of being extremely good in the meta, depending on how they buff or adjust her. And this is going to be a really good Sojourn matchup with Lambda and Exodial. Exodial, one of the standout players from last year in EMEA.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, his casting was ridiculous last year. Doesn't like Qadsiah can actually stay in this fight, although Ken overextends on the Genji as Team PEPS. They aren't able to cap. Same with Team Qadsiah, as both teams still struggling to get a clean team, right? Exodio going super low.
Hazard has so much survivability and he can get back so fast. This is a point that traditionally stalls out for a while anyway, right? So seeing how everybody just jumps into the fray rather quickly, now we finally get it under control, but you're gonna have another fight here instantly.
Yeah, sound barrier comes through for Team PEPS. Rush laid down from Landon, but unfortunately Tread just nowhere to be seen on Landon's screen. Couldn't manage to get some healing shots onto him, and that should be Team PEPS cleaning this one up with ease. That sound barrier just a little bit too good, and Landon, I mean, laid down that rush mat in the choke point, but there wasn't too many people to kind of utilize that.
And even so, right, you lay down that Kitsune rush in the choke, you want to kind of get aggressive on through it. FD God has the sound barrier, so everybody on PEPS, they were just kind of getting back in the fight, right? They disengaged for a little bit, got all healed up, and then they come back with the beat, and they're able to take it rather easily. This will be an overclock here for Exodial, maybe just trying to get a little bit of tempo here. It's going to be the sound barrier in response. Oh. This is actually pretty good here for PEPS, right? The sound barrier kind of goes for nothing.
Good triple shot from Exodial there. Just absolutely liquefied Lambda. Had all that overhealth and a couple of nice little shots from Exodial. Takes down his enemy like for like, and well, Qadsiah gonna have to reset.
Well, at that point, right, you have the overclock, you're using the Kitsune rush there for PEPS, and the sound barrier comes out from Haku and they get no value of it, right? Think about when PEPS ended up using their sound barrier, right into the Kitsune rush, able to go in, do great work with it. That's how Haku, though. You're using that sound barrier out at the choke, and this will be a blade, goes for one. So this is still being used pretty far away from the point.
Yeah, FT God does end up going down for Team PEPS, but like you said, they're very far away. That was a fight completely off of the point, so Qadsiah still need to make up this ground, and FT God will be back in not a moment's notice. There is an ultimate coming through, maybe for Ice. Doesn't end up laying it down. I mean, that downpour's good to lock people in place, and Tread doesn't end up succumbing to it. Looks like Checkmate 2 also caught in the fray as Team PEPS now closing in on this final fight as Labs are just trying to int onto the point to make sure they get one a proper fight.
You know, the blade from Checkmate, you get one, but it's so far away from the point that you see everybody basically for PEPS back on the point when the next fight kind of kicks off. And you know, Ken able to use his blade, push them back a little bit. It was a nice downpour from Ice Gnome, right? Connects with two players, ends up taking them out. And I mean, this has been all PEPS since the beginning.
Yeah, all PEPS playing off of the point, pushing out Qadsiah to the limit. They had to use the rush to even get out of the choke point as OT is approaching. FD God does end up killing Checkmate with a nice little boop as Landon and Tread do come off an off angle, but they can't get the retouch. Sound barrier, FD God Ajaxing that one, but it was all good. Round was already over as Team PEPS take the first one.
Yeah, and PEPS looked really good on that. You know, they gave up that 20%, but it's really just them disengaging, letting FD God build that beat at the start. And then once they kind of push through the Kitsune rush from Landon with that sound barrier, there's no response really from at Qadsiah. So really nice first round there from PEPS. Looks to have, look, when you have FD God and he can play the Lucio, especially because he wants to play aggressively in these types of compositions, sometimes you get some interesting results, but that time I thought played it quite perfectly.
Same comms running out, no too surprise. As we go to one of my favorite stages on this map, the way you can play super far away. We saw a little bit of Arna from Kanale earlier on this map, on this round. We'll see if the same can be said here. Looks like both teams, though, just opting for the Kiriko. Just want to go fast, just ignoring the Arna. Even though Arna's still pretty strong, like we mentioned in the previous series. But Tread just getting forced out here, man. Just completely bullied away from this high ground.
Well, it was, both Genshis and Lucius for each team respectively over on that right-hand side by the hut, and Tread actually just kind of pushed in there trying to get some control of that, but it's actually going to give up some of the high ground in the point first. He takes a lot of damage. Yeah,
I think Tread's just going to get kind of dominated here. Nice little wall, too. Especially if you're Ice in this situation where everybody's looking down upon you, trying to shoot you. Pop the wall up, just hug it slightly, and there's a lot less angles that Labda can shoot you from. Labda still takes out Zarion, but how long can he realistically survive against Ice? Not entirely sure, but he's got the backup there required. Both supports just pocketing Labda right now, making sure he stays in the fight, and now Qadsiah cap first.
Well, and that's the thing, you have both supports, right? As Ice Gnome's still there available for PEPS. We talk about how strong Hazard is and survivable, but they just have the Lucio. You're not going to be able to keep him alive, especially he was like, 40% HP at the time.
Double wall coming out as Ice now put himself on the point. Deflect there from Checkmate. Labda first to fall in this fight to Ken. And here comes the rush. Really aggressive positioning here from Ice. Has got Lucio at his back, but where's the damage? There it is. Ken ends up dashing in. You can see Team PEPS very quick on the rotation there to try and help out their tank. And that will be the cap as soon as they kill Checkmate.
You're going to get, what, almost 40% here from Qadsiah, but a huge win there for PEPS because they end up having to use just about nothing, right? They don't have anything going into it. It's a Kitsune rush there dropped by Landon, and you don't really get any value of it. You end up winning the fight for PEPS. Now PEPS can play aggressive behind their own rush.
Man, they love playing up to the spawn. Ken a little loving that a little bit too much, maybe. Nice defensive wall there onto Checkmate. Still gonna slice through the tank in the front line, but with no nano, no sound barrier, no nothing, can't stay in the fight too long, even if he's got the blade drawn. A lot of ults to Team PEPS now, Matt, as they try and get back to the point, and they kill Labda on the approach. A good little reset there on to Ice, but a sound barrier from Team PEPS only hitting two. FD God and Exodio to get bathed in that overhealth map, but that's about it. As Qadsiah end up capping that point.
Yeah, they're trying to actually get that sound barrier to connect on Ice Gnome. It just comes in a hair too late as he ends up falling. Sound barrier goes down. That's why it's just FD got an Exodio, and it doesn't look that great. They're trying to capitalize on that pick that Exodio got, trying to even things up.
Blame the backline here for Ken. Oh, easily slicing through Labda and Landon there. One slice, 2 kills as Team PEPS take over that fight with ease. That will be the cap as well. A couple of late staggers here on a Haku and Tread, and there's the team kill.
Yes, now PEPS with full control yet again, even though they didn't really get a ton of value out of that sound barrier. Still kind of kept them lurking around the point. Exodio putting down some damage from the side allowed for Ice Gnome to get back into the fight rather quickly. And you're going to have this downpour, nothing to deal with it on the other side. Let's see how they try and line it up.
Downpour, pretty hard to get off though against everybody that's so mobile.
Yeah,
we talked about a little bit earlier on.
Capture them in.
Exactly. Rush for Landon as well, and about 5%. His Genji's going pretty low though. Does he'll checkmate up eventually, but Tredge now tries to make a move. Rush onto the point, and it's going to be a pretty easy one to utilize here if you're Qadsiah, as Tredge just forcing the issue now, pushing Peps all the way back, but Peps don't lose any video at. And now they're going to try and go aggressive. A wall separates the team, as Landon's actually the first to fall, as Tredge is going dangerously low, tries to leap away. Even with that damage resistance crossing his arms, he's nothing compared to Ice, and FD was just inting into the front line as Team PEPS, they springboard back in, and Qadsiah, yeah, they wanted to go aggro map, but weren't expecting PEPS to utilize so much. That Rush just sailing them through that fight with ease.
PEPS has done an amazing job, right? Disengaging in a lot of these fights, giving them advantageous windows there to be able to attack. It's just going to be Trent just trying to get on. He'll get a touch, trigger OT.
Let's get a touch. Wall already used though, as here comes the blade. Downpour comes in, his checkmate in no man's land right now. Oh, he boops his head on the little wall too. Little bit of additional damage there. His checkmate blade doesn't get traded out with the sound barrier. Haku with 5% away towards hits. That's the game plan here for Qadsiah. Keep Haku alive, but thick and fast. Landon and Trent are already dying, and Haku gets the sound barrier at the final moment, but it's all Exodial. Overclock in hand, takes care of two, and Team PEPS find themselves with a map win.
Yeah, they try and actually catch checkmate with the downpour as soon as he ends up popping his blade, but he's able to dash out of the way. But he also dashes to a spot where he can't really get any value other than that we're on board with him, right? And he just kind of gets trapped in that corner, by the Hazard and the Lucio. I thought PEPS, like we talked about in the first point, right, where they disengaged right at the beginning, give up like 20% or so, and then use the beat to kind of come on back and win it. They did basically the same thing just there, right? The Kitsune Rush comes down from Qadsiah, they put back on up. Qadsiah wants to commit, right? They want to get value out of it, push on in, and they have the ultimates, support ultimates to kind of battle on back. I thought PEPS did a great job disengaging, kind of playing with the momentum at times when it felt like it.
Yeah, that really is super nice. Like you said, it's, hey, you want to push into us? You want to try and use an ult to win a fight? Okay, we're going to instantly disengage. Really nice discipline from PEPS thus far. You don't really expect anything less, especially with the veterans on the squad. And I mean, Exodial, we sung his praises last year. Casty play was just sublime, and coming up big with the Sojourn as well. A good meta, I feel like, for a lot of Team PEPS members, especially even FD God, right? Lucio specialist.
And just watching the clips from Hazard, obviously we didn't really get a chance to see Hazard played last year. It got announced in Stockholm. Just the mobility from this hero is crazy. Like we've seen actually heroes with like high mobility, like, Wrecking Ball obviously has great mobility, high mobility, but like it takes a lot of, tech and different geometry on the map to be able to use. This is like completely different. I mean, Hazard can just, he feels like he has leap always. It's wild to me. And also like the survivability is really strong as well, where I think if he's in or comps that you can work him into, they're going to be the go-tos, it looks like, at least for now. Yeah,
I mean, he got a nerf, but it was like, okay, that wasn't enough. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, his damage is still
wrist.
there.
Yeah, not like a,
exactly.
Yeah, it's not a nerf.
It was like, okay, well, you can't leap as often now, but it's still up all the time, and you're just running people down, and you survive, and you got wall. Like, he does a little bit of everything right now. We'll see if either team wants to ban him going into the next map. And of course, it will be now Qadsiah pick, and it looks like we're going to Esperança now map, our push map.
So yeah, we'll see if anybody wants to kind of eliminate Hazard from the pool. It'd be quite interesting what teams go to there. We saw Maga ban in map number 1, so maybe these teams have kind of played against each other, seen some of other games that have gone on in the EMEA. Maybe there's an opportunity to work the Maga back into the mix, but we'll see Juno back in for this map as well, providing we don't see a ban from the opposite side. So I fully expect if Juno's in the mix, right? I know maybe there's a Kriko ban, maybe a Lucio ban. I think you'll probably see those 3 supports kind of get rotated around. Like with hero bans, it's kind of similar to when we, thinking way back when we had hero pools, right? Where when some things were out, you would just fall back to, certain options or certain looks. Or I think you'll kind of get something similar here.
Dude, hero pools were just, that was...
Zoe's cat was picking them, my dog was picking them.
It was an interesting time.
Me and Sideshow baked a cake, I think, one time. I don't know if that had to do with hero pools.
Didn't he bake a garlic cake or something? Or was that
Josh made a garlic buttercream.
Just I just can't. Oh yeah, and your didn't Chelsea bake the cake for you?
No,
you didn't bake that at all. I don't believe that.
No outside interference in my cake.
that is such a crazy time to think back, because thousands of people were cheering on a cat to ban May. And it was just, the cat did it, well, Nori did it. And well, you know, the cat was sung praises of for many years to come. It was an insane time. Apparently, Nori got a trading card made because of that. I don't know. It was a weird time. Anyway, PEPS end up banning Tracer here, and now Qadsiah, who end up banning first, they banned the Ana going into Esperança.
So nothing really impacting the supports, right? Except now you have all three available. The three kind of the ones that we would think you would see most often with the Juno, Lucio, and Kiriko. Probably you're looking at like Juno plus the Lucio here, potentially. And then with the Tracer gone, right? Tracer's always really strong on this map, can kind of control the high ground, you know, access some of the flanking routes. So potentially you're just going to see them run it back with a Genji Sojourn.
Yeah, makes the most sense. I mean, Genji's still super strong and played everywhere at the moment as well. Korea are playing it a ton, Japan are playing it a ton as well. Not really a character that you'd expect to be by the wayside, just incredibly powerful when he gets the support. And Juno, Lucio, like Kiriko, just everything can kind of help the Genji succeed in what he does best. I mean, I've been watching a ton of Scarlet actually on Niam Gaming play Genji, and dude, that guy is just a beast. Worth watching those games if you haven't done already on the Esports Japan channel. But yeah, as we load in, Esperança, no tank ban, so I would imagine it's just going to be another mirror match here without the Tracers.
Genji's also like his play rate at times. Obviously, you know, comes down to balance, but also like the map pool, right? Like there are some maps that are infinitely better for Genji, you know, than others. Where if it's a bad map pool for him and the balance doesn't really justify, like he's nowhere close in balance, like then there's no shot, right? You're not going to see him. But in this case, right, I know pretty close in terms of balance, and then also completely viable. So. We'll see Qadsiah looking at a comp here that is probably what we're going to end up seeing. Potentially PEPS can kind of play this, you know, but I highly doubt it with Exodial doing the slow walk here. So it looks like potentially still a hazard with the Sojourn and the Genji. Sojourn Genji can control the high ground here rather seamlessly.
Yeah, I was thinking in this series, like, will we see Exodial on the Cassidy? It was banned in the previous series, and his Cassidy was something that everybody was excited to see last year, and still really good against Genji, against high mobile comps, but looks like he wants a little bit more mobility than just a single small role.
Also, like the high ground here, and just like the line of sight is so good. Right. The effective range for Sojourn as opposed to the Cassidy, like if you can get like mid-range force these fights, and the Cassidy's pretty good as Checkmate goes in and he gets dealt with rather quickly. I mean, there was no chance for him to live through there, right? I mean, he's in that small room, about 25% HP with 3 people on the other side. So PEPS takes his first fight, but yeah, I mean, look, you can play the Cassidy at certain moments, but in a time like this, especially, like, look at where Exodial set up on the Sojourn, up on that high ground, like looking straight down. There's no way you're playing Cassidy into that type of setup.
Right. We'll see how well Exodial can do on this high ground. Now, such a tough fight to actually open up with too. You have to use one of your big speed boosts or speed ring or amp or whatever to get through this kind of choke and get onto the high ground. But luckily for Hazard, Matt, like you were mentioning, pretty good at mobility. So can jump up there, grapple onto the wall, and doesn't really have to worry too much. Oh, FD got.
Oh, he's good. I mean, he was as close to his dead as you could be without being dead. I mean, that was insane. Is always, you know, FD God. No, he playing
on a knife's edge.
Yeah,
yeah, playing on a knife's edge again.
Well, look, if you're playing with FD God, you know what you're getting, right? You know it's gonna be, you know, we're gonna go right to a knife's edge, and sometimes it works out like there, right? Sometimes, you know, it's a beat drop and he gets killed during it, but when it looks good and, you know, not getting punished for it, it's what you're seeing here from PEPS is they've kind of really dominated here on the early outset of the series.
Big W for Lucio players too. Of course, the sound barrier now, it speeds up as you use it. So like if you're using it from the top rope, you will go a lot quicker down to the floor. So a lot less chances to Ajax, but it's still possible. Nice little orbital raid there from Qadsiah. However, now they have to deal with one from PEPS. Landed just destroyed. Here comes the downpour, and Exodial just steps to the left slightly and dodges it. Team PEPS running over Qadsiah, and there's the checkpoint.
And this is one of the more brutal feelings in terms of competitive Overwatch, where you are playing the mirror. It's something you're obviously comfortable with. Everybody's playing it in the region, and you just seem like you're not on the same level. At that point, you're like, okay, where do we go? How do we get an advantage here? Because PEPS, I mean, you're gonna have this sound barrier here, and they're gonna combine it with an overclock, so they're gonna gain a ton of space.
Yeah, both teams using that combo. Trading out, and now here come the blades. Ken, checkmate a little bit further away though, 4% to go. They're gonna push in, Exodio ends up going down, and there comes Ken. Although checkmate finishes him off, giving him a taste of his own medicine, dashing straight through him. But still Team PEPS, Matt, they're getting a lot of space, and FD God is pressuring the issue. Ice, they're gonna chase him all the way to the spawn. No chance really here for Haku to get away.
And it's not like it's going to take the rest of PEPS very long to get back into the fight, right? You're going to lose Haku here towards the end. Now everybody for PEPS going to be back into the action, and they're not even going to lose much progress on the bot. You see the bot just move slightly away from the barrier, so they're going to be able to continue extending this fight.
They're just going to lay down the downpour as well. That is Trek getting out of there, and actually a boob kill from FD God shuts down Checkmate's blade, but they are still pushing, and they're still pushing it all the way to the spawn too. Team PEPS have not lost control of this bot.
And it's gone from bad to worse here from Qadsiah. And now they're going to use that wall push up, try and gain some space. But if you're PEPS, you can kind of back up to that choke, right? You can play around getting this orbital ray and then push on through.
And look at the space Team PEPS are giving them, though. I mean, this is so as classic Esperanza, right? It's like, okay, we lose the fight here. Okay, back up to high ground. Get a better position for our DPS. Find a pick. Tredge trying to put pressure onto this high ground, but it's been so difficult. Pops the wall down, bit of an inconvenience there for Ice, but clambers around it. Here comes the orbital ray from Landon. Now Qadsiah need to find kills. Sound barrier from FD God does connect. Ice has been caught by the ultimate threat, but a downpour is shot off. A return orbital ray from PEPS now is Qadsiah with a sound barrier, but it only hits 2. Checkmate and Haku get the overhealth, but everybody was already dead. As Team PEPS, they lost their backline, but they still make control of the ball.
You could see that happening from like almost a mile away, where Haku's working up towards its sound barrier that entire fight, right? You're exchanging support ultimates. He's a little bit behind going into it, and as soon as those 2 kills come down, he's about to get it. He ends up dropping it and just connects. I believe with him and Labda, they have another player live, doesn't even get the benefits of it. So pretty brutal stuff there. Is that you're almost better off losing the fight, coming back to the sound barrier, getting an advantage, and seeing what you can do after that.
All right, how quickly can they actually get this high ground? Doesn't look like quick enough. Wow, both overclocks popped at exactly the same time, and Exodio schools Labda. A double tap, and that will be dead for the Sojourn and Qadsiah. Oh man, it is not looking hot at all. 4.5 minutes to go, and they have 111 meters, and they're not afraid to play on that checkpoint either. They're gonna get a little bit more meterage here, and they're rounding the final corner.
Now, we've seen obviously crazy comebacks and push, but once you get that first checkpoint and you are behind by this much, it feels near impossible here as PEPS kind of comes around the home stretch. You'll end up with a blade here coming up shortly. I think they're also trying to get this beat.
Oh, blade ends up getting popped. Ice is pretty chill though. Just kind of looks at the Genji, it shrugs the blade damage off. A lot of damage reduction on the hazard, funnily enough. And FD God unleashes the sound barrier. That's a very aggressive blade pull from Ken, but you're pressuring out Qadsiah right now. A double kill, more meterage. This might even be another full cap map. We already have one today. Can it be another?
Luckily for Qadsiah, you have Haku and Checkmate who have kind of stalled a little bit on the bot, so you're going to have some players coming out of spawn here. And you are going to have double support ult, but using double support ult here right at the end, out of your spawn feels absolutely brutal, especially when you're behind by this much in terms of just raw meterage.
Yeah, luckily for Qadsiah too, they did end up killing Ice during that fight, so PEPS weren't able to stay around, but they're just going to reset. Like, hit the reset button, and we're back on high ground. And good luck, Tread, trying to get on top.
With how mobile the comps are too, right? Typically you would look at this and be like, okay, it's maybe 2-3 fights to get to that first checkpoint for Qadsiah, but it may actually be more with how fast these fights can go.
Or Exodio caught in the downpour, and Ken and FD God already dead. Is everyone just trying to find kills at this point, not worrying about healing the rest of his team? Potentially knows the fight's over already, especially with 2 deads. All right, there it is, Qadsiah. They're going to gain a little bit more than 6 meters now with that team kill.
I mean, you're going to need at least checkpoint, right? Out of this. I mean, 2 minutes, 2 minutes 30 plus in the clock is not a lot of time, especially now when you're just coming up on, 15 meters or so. So we'll see if Tread can kind of control some of this high ground and have sound barriers to match here, though. FD God's done a much better job in this series thus far, though, compared to Haku, about getting value out of them.
Exodio a little bit too scared to push up to the window. Little wall behind him now as well. Oh, almost. Oh, Labda, wrong place, wrong time, buddy. Half HP, that's one railgun headshot, and you are mincemeat. Checkmate, also 1 HP as Ice was ready and waiting for him in that small room. And checkpoint, Matt, I don't think they're going to get it, unfortunately. 2 minutes to go for Team PEPS.
And they decide to use their sound barrier again, and I actually don't even really hate that decision because you need to win fights. Like, you can't exactly be like, oh, well, let's just disengage or lose this and back on up, right? I mean, you've given up so much meterage already. You have to kind of take a little bit of a risk there, a little bit of a gamble. You're only down one player, ends up using the beat, try and maybe force a kill there to even things up, but doesn't end up working out. Now you're going to have the sound barrier here for Checkmate's Blade, although you've been doing a nice job just dodging it in general, right? So there's the sound barrier that comes through from FD God, catches just about everybody but Ice Snow.
Yeah, it's all good though, because the Hazard could protect themselves. Railgun for Labda. Just gonna have to make this one even, but he's kind of too scared to poke his head out this window at the current moment in time. Oh, and that's why. Exodial, yeah, scores him once again. Landon taken out, and with only a minute to go, Qadsiah looking like they're going to fall over on their map pick. This Esperanza not going their way, not one bit.
No, and I mean, you're going to have orbital rays coming up here soon, but Ken's Blade, let's see if you can get any value out of it, right? No sound barrier on the other side. Maybe you can kind of track down Labda, and then also Exodial with how fast he can build towards these overclocks. Would not count that out if we have an extended fight with these support ults in the mix.
But I mean, we've seen the same fight like 5 times. It's just Peps on the high ground, Qadsiah trying to get up.
Why take a different one? I mean, there's
exactly. One. They're playing this one perfectly right now. Landon on the small little flank. Tread is getting annihilated in the front line. And there it is. There's the orbital ray. 15 seconds to go. And what was not exactly a close map. It'll be Peps taking it. Qadsiah just ran over. You could see the idea from Landon there. Get the flank off, hit the orbital ray. But the bot, where it is, and a downport on top of it as well, that's going to signal the end of the map as Team PEPS take match points.
Just a dominant performance from PEPS, right? Being able to kind of control that high ground. Exodial, a key factor up there. FD God continues really strong play, right? We haven't seen anything where, push it a little bit too deep, maybe gets picked off. Really good uses of the sound barrier as well, connecting with just about the entire team all the time and high value situations. So really strong play from PEPS, and I believe who did you predict in this series? Did you have Qadsiah? Okay, you didn't. I think at least one person had Qadsiah on the desk, where I was like, this is going to be a very competitive series, but it turns out PEPS seems to be on another level.
Yes, indeed. I mean, look, FD God, no Ajaxes just yet. I was suspecting that with the Lucio change, I'm like, man, we are never going to see Ajaxes ever, but I'm ready. I'm waiting. This season, regardless of that Lucio change, there's a lot of burst damage in these comps. Sojourns, Genjis, like even Hazard, right? The Lucios are still having a little bit of a tough time, I think, getting the value with the sound barriers. But FD God, showing up big as he always does.
You take a shot from a Sojourn, and then the Hazard just flies in, and then just a swipe. I mean, you're like dead, right?
You're dead. Exactly.
I mean, that doesn't even account for like if a Genji comes through with a dash or something like that, where I'm curious what we see in terms of bans coming up next. Like, it seems like, I know for Qadsiah, like, what, do you go for like a Hazard? Do you go for something like a Sojourn, right? Feels like you need to take a little bit of a gamble here in terms of what you go for.
Yeah, I mean, look, do you ban the Hazards here just to mix up the comps completely? Do you feel like your Hazard game is still a lot stronger? Because I don't know a single thing right now that Qadsiah can do to kind of pull themselves back in, especially when it comes to bans.
If you're losing the mirror, right, try and remove things out of the equation that would have you just play the same compositions you've been playing. To just kind of do a ban to just kind of throw it in there, right, to just kind of continue down this road. I feel like we're going to be saying Team PEPS wins 3-0 very soon if you keep going down that path.
Oh, Suravasa was the pick for Qadsiah. We'll see if they want to ban. They'll be banning first. So, look, do you take away, like, Lucio? Do you take away the Hazard? I think those are two decent bans coming through from them.
Lucio would be interesting, right? Because FD God traditionally has been, you can play other supports, right? But when people think about FD God and you want him on your team, right?
He played Lifeweaver on Gibraltar that one time.
Yeah. I mean, but you pick him up, you put him in the game, and he's on your roster to play Lucio, right? So potentially Lucio, an interesting ban here, but also Lucio seems like essential a lot of the times on Flashpoint. So quite a dilemma here for Qadsiah.
Okay, we're getting a substitution as well. Labda out, QLM in for Qadsiah. Okay, and no substitutions for Pep, so not seeing soon. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, it would have been awesome too, right? I know soon, obviously, back in Overwatch, I know a bit of a throwback, fan favorite, right? Think back to way back, like, Blizzard Arena days, even pre-Blizzard Arena, right?
On Rogue.
E-League days, yeah. I mean, soon's been around since Johnny was capable of playing.
Yeah, I was like, wait, Soon's still playing at like top level OWCS. Like, what happened to Johnny, man? What happened?
Soon is playing on Team PEPS, and Johnny is on our Face It League team. So that just kind of shows you the trajectory.
Diamond Face It League. Oh man, this is going to go crazy. He's playing tank at least, so he's in his element, bro. Don't worry. I mean, you're on DPS. This is gonna go
DPS. I mean, that's gonna be lights out.
Oh, I don't know about that. That sounds like a hard carry from a certain member of the team, and it's not gonna be you, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Jake hasn't been playing that much, so that's really not me.
That's so true. He's like, this game is in third person. What's going on? All right, we'll see what Qadsiah want to ban as we load on in. Teams are just submitting those as we speak. As it sounds like Qadsiah, actually, I'm just getting word in, they're actually banning Zarya. So, protecting a tank pick here, I would imagine.
Yeah, we saw this kind of strategy used in EWC as well, right? Where you would ban, we saw Mercy ban, for instance, in some of the support games. Because the other team can't ban something from the same role, right? So you want to prevent them from banning, let's say, a Hazard or a Maga potentially, right? So you ban a tank that you just really wouldn't play, right? To eliminate the tank ban potentially from the other side.
Yeah, on Team PEPS' side of things, I mean, they're kind of winning in quite a dominant fashion. Do you just ban, like, I don't know, do you just ban, like, Genji or something?
If you're PEPS, right? Or did you even care? Like, just ban...
Yeah.
You could just ban something, out of nowhere, right? Like, hey, ban Baptiste or, Reaper, right? Just for, okay, fine, like, we'll just keep playing what we've been playing, right? I know the Zarya isn't going to really change anything here.
Yeah, so, yeah, maybe they just ban something crazy. Okay, actually not a crazy ban, but they do end up banning Ana. Okay, Suravasa is the map pick. Qadsiah looking like they want to protect that Hazard. So they're going to be rolling out with that, I'd imagine. But if they're going into like the same comps again. Maga, yeah, that's true.
We saw a Maga ban early on, so potentially it's like, do you want to play something else? I believe it was Qadsiah though who did the Maga ban, right? So get that out of the way early on, and we've seen them just constantly go over towards Hazard. So wouldn't be surprised if we continue to see that. Yeah,
same comps as last map. I bet my bottom dollar on it, that's for sure. Let's load in. Suravasa, map pick by Qadsiah. Looking like a 3-0 for PEPS right now, but this is definitely a map that can flip it on its head. I mean, we just saw Gen G take this off of Virtus Pro, even though it was a rather dominant series for VP. We'll see if the same can be said here. And of course, brand new year, brand new me, but the same old pigeons on a...
You aren't scared of the pigeons. This is just a bit.
It's a bit. Have you looked into their eyes, Matt?
This is just a bit.
The bit is transcended from the English broadcast as well. They do it in the Japanese broadcast too, and the Korean one.
What?
It's actually transcended.
They scared of pigeons?
Yeah. Every map there's pigeons. It's crazy.
I mean, this is just...
I don't know how it's gone so far.
Is there even a phobia? Like a pigeon phobia?
There has to be. There has to be a pigeon phobia. We'll look it up in a minute. We'll look it up on the break. Here you go. Here's the comms though. QLM coming in for Qadsiah too. That's sub coming in on the Sojin. So we'll see how he fares against PEPS, who are right now, honestly, on a bit of a hot streak.
Yeah, I mean, Exodial and crew looking quite good here for PEPS, but they'll end up losing Exodio right off the start here. So Checkmate now playing the Tracer QLM will end up playing the Sojourn. So obviously the DPS change here comes in for Qadsiah. It's Checkmate, a phenomenal Tracer banned in the last match, so we'll see if that can maybe turn the tides.
Yeah, QLM known for more long-range hit scan, Ashe, Widow, etc. So yeah, shut up in a pretty big way. He's had decent placings in the Saudi E-League over his time being a player. Qadsiah off to a good start though. This is it. This is the confidence build you really need. First fight, okay. You got the jitters off. It's all good. It's a brand new season. Now we'll see if Checkmate can connect this pulse bomb.
Yeah, a real confidence builder. They've won one fight. You're going to need to do a little bit more than that.
That is confidence.
I mean, look, you've never been a part of one of these matches where it snowballs like this. Winning a fight does not bring it back
like attitude,
for the squad.
I don't like your attitude. If you bring this attitude to the basic games on our team, we're going to have words. Oh, tread. Please don't die. Okay,
no
well,
way
he did.
This is a good stall, though, from Qadsiah, right? The kill comes in. The first kill comes in this fight quite early here for PEPS, where it's like, about 35, 40% for Qadsiah. So they gain, almost double. They have just kind of Haku tread, go in, juggle the points. So although they end up losing it, they give themselves a great chance to be able to go in, take one fight, and flip it.
FT God with the sound barrier. But I do worry for Team PEPS in this fight. They haven't got a Ray. They've got that rush coming online, but it's not quick enough. Qadsiah have already got the orbital Ray, and they're going to make good use of it. Good. A lot of damage there from Landon. Those Pulsar 2 videos connected with quite a few members of Team PEPS. They do end up using the sound barrier to prolong themselves in this fight, as well as that downpour. Here comes the rush 2. Ice taking a whole heap of damage, though, as Exodio is trying to make good use of that rush. And Ken popping that blade, chasing the Lucio away. Actually deflects the tread downpour there, actually connects with him. As Qadsiah still not being able to finish this fight, as Team PEPS closing in on that OT, and Exodio with such a good spot for a Sojourn. That railgun now is going to hurt. Qadsiah also going to return with one of their own. A pretty even fight so far as a QLM shuts down FGODOG and Exodio, and now only tread for Qadsiah remains, but not before Ken has his way with him. Eventually, Team PEPS end up capping this points, although a couple of staggers coming in here as Haku makes his way back. Same with the Tracer.
Yeah, few players trying to work their way in here for Qadsiah, right? Landon here as well, Checkmate. Still in the mix, but I just do not see it happening, right? The flip.
There it is.
Not going to happen. Team PEPS will take our first flashpoint. And, when you have the Tracer and the Genji, those are really kind of the two differences between these two teams. You also end up having a support difference, right? The Genji can get immense value inside of the Kitsune rush, right? So you're going to end up playing the Kuriko with this type of setup, where I know Landon can end up playing the Juno, right? A little bit more damage, and they were end up playing a Tracer, but they're going to match with a Genji.
Big wrap around to the high ground here for Checkmate. Oh, spots FD God. Good slip away there. Both supports disappearing from Checkmate's screen in a blink of an eye. Ken going very low. Actually just dies to the wall. All right, just neutral fight win there for Qadsiah.
Yeah, Team PEPS gets there first. I mean, this could look exactly like the first point, right? Qadsiah takes it first early. Team PEPS, even though they get there first, right, off the back of winning the first flashpoint, they still end up giving it up. And the Team PEPS will have a slight advantage here in terms of support ults, right? They're going to have both support ults a little bit earlier than Qadsiah. We've seen this a few times throughout the series, right? Where Haku will get this sound barrier towards the end, has to get good value out of it or save it.
All right, Russia versus the Ray. Well, the sound barrier is going to tip the scales in Team PEPS' favor, at least for now. Exodio has to get out of there, though. Look at that. Team PEPS just trying to gun for Exodio, make sure he stays alive. As Qadsiah were descending on him rather quickly. Speaking of which, Tread's still in the fight. QLM takes down Zerion, but it will be Ken and Ice making sure Checkmate and Tread are kept in line. Qadsiah still with control, though. They're eking these fights out. I think Team PEPS are, to be fair, doing the same kind of thing. These fights aren't definitive, and with QLM using this railgun here, it's going to be an even longer fight. Although that should end it. They eventually lay it down with Ice's ult, and that will be the flip.
And now both teams mirror matching, right? You're going to have the Juno on both sides of things. So the damage output that Juno can provide, and then also being able to play inside those rays. That's why you're going to see both these teams make that adjustment as PEPS now with control of the point. You have Exodial with that overclock, right? He's done a great job in the last fight. Gets really low, takes a shot from QLM, gets to the opposite side, gets some healing. See what type of positioning he takes here.
Oh, FD God, good dash there from Checkmate. Takes down Exodial too, and easy targets locked down by the downpour. Yeah, Team PEPS quickly dealt with. You literally and physically cannot avoid that combo, the downpour and blade.
And they get a kill actually on the Landon first. Exodial hits a railgun shot onto him, but it's the really nice downpour there from Tread, and like you mentioned, the blade that comes through from Checkmate to clean it up. You're not going to be able to go back and contest here for PEP, so it's going to be OWCS tying this one up.
All right, okay, Team PEPS now. We're getting caught out on the rotation. Zerion ends up falling over. Good heads-up play there from Qadsiah, knowing Team PEPS' rotation and catching them off guard. This will be surely a first point cap here with 15 seconds to go. A really nice, aggressive way to put PEPS in their place.
I mean, putting up a much better fight here is Qadsiah compared to the first two maps, right? Some of Control pretty competitive at the start, but last map was just a blowout for PEPS as the point finally unlocks. That's a nice shot there from Exodial. That's going to trigger him actually using the overclock.
Yeah, it looks like QLM's going to be able to get out of there, though. Sound barrier from Haku, too, just to make sure they secure the fight. They end up capping the point as well. Can Team PEPS escape? There's the big question. It's a big ult utilized map. FD God didn't have the sound barrier online, but honestly, I take that any day of the week because Qadsiah, they've still got the raid to their name.
Well, the kill on FD God is massive, right? Because they were going to try and do similar how they played that first, control point, right? They were going to try and disengage there and then come back with a later sound barrier. They'll actually use their orbital ray here first with a downpour.
Oh, that's a big downpour. Those supports kind of trapped in that small, oh my word,
brutal.
Ice. Yeah, just brutalizing them, tenderizing them, Matt. Both of them caught in that downpour after the ray was used. That ray was slowly moving away from them. And what a play from Ice.
And they're also able to hold on to their sound barrier, right? So it's like, oh, you have a sound barrier advantage. You can come back, maybe open things up with that. But you have the sound barrier now to weather off Checkmate's blade, as Checkmate has definitely started to play a little bit more like the Checkmate we've seen in the past over this map, right? It was looking pretty strong, especially now switching over, I know, playing some Tracer, playing the Genji as well.
Well, they got the combo now. They got the downpour blade or the pour blade. I don't know. Oh, it's a sound. Oh, FD got Ajaxes. Oh no,
we jinxed it.
We actually did.
like 5 minutes ago.
Oh my god. All right, there's your first Ajax. Oh, Zerion at least, wow. Zerion and Exodial still keeping it competitive though. Checkmate eventually gets the reset. As Qadsiah, I don't think they're going to be able to stay in the fight. Don't worry, guys. I died early, so I can get back to the point quicker.
Yeah, tactical death there. Reset. Tactical reset.
Oh, FD God.
Dude,
it never gets old.
That Qadsiah has to win. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, Checkmate's got the blade. Surely he wins this one, right? Oh, he's in the disruptor shot. Quick dash back to the point. Quickly get healed up as well. Exodial trying as he might to try and find headshots, but still manages to snipe QLM.
Yeah,
he was hit with the downpour as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's rooted there in the downpour, even using the overclock, and just finds a sliver of a head there of the player trying to cross it away from the point. It seems like everything that could go right for Team PEPS is happening at the moment, as they're just one flashpoint away from putting away Qadsiah.
Oh, that looks so good.
That was sick.
If I'm QLM, I'm slamming the desk at that point. All right, rotation here from Team PEPS. They got the downpour. Do you know orbital rate coming up soon as well? Gonna try and take an early fight out Qadsiah. They got the sound barrier. Ideally, you don't want to use it right now, as Tread takes a very aggressive position, but Exodial FD God, whoa, fine, you come at us. 10 seconds to go before the point unlocks, and now Qadsiah already back to spawn. Nice little stagger too, actually, onto QLM.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it just seems like they're not on the same page, Qadsiah, right? Like, Tread is in there quite deep. I believe Haku there with him, but they have no chance to survive, right? I mean, they're just kind of like in the midst of everybody on Team PEPS. Seems like Qadsiah not operating on the same page at the moment.
Big ask here from Haku now. Sound barrier versus the orbital rate and that downpour. Here it comes. Sound barrier does hit, doesn't hit QLM, but it might be good enough for at least a survivability tool to get into the point, maybe. I mean, Checkmate's already dead. They trade for ice at least. FD God is close to another sound barrier map, but here comes the orbital raise. They're eventually going to cross as FD God, he secures the beat map. He got it off. No more Ajaxes.
And the beat comes down much later, right? So you're going to get the extra benefits of this shielding, which should result in PEPS taking the fight.
I've never... Okay. FD God. FD God! Oh, he sailed across the map trying to kill the Juno, and he still doesn't get it. Downpour on the point. Ice is still getting healed up here, but yeah, he is caught in place, so easy headshots from Qadsiah there. As Team PEPS, they let go of the point.
With Hazard's mobility, these fights at times just seem to like chain together, right?
Yeah, seriously.
The speed from the Lucio, the Juno, get players back in the mix. Even Genji Sojourn, right? But then specifically Hazard being able to just basically just use the leap at will, coming back from the spot. I mean, the fights just keep on going. As QLM with the overclock takes a nice angle here, kills Exodial, so that'll back up PEPS.
Can they actually reset here? Any kill for Qadsiah might just be the fight win and the point as well, but it doesn't like Team PEPS are going to give them the opportunity to do so. And in fact, Checkmate's the one that goes down. A good shot onto Ken though, as both Genjis end up falling. A 4v4 now, but Team PEPS still need to touch. 10% times ticking. Landon falls though, and Ice is hot on the tail of Haku. And with the very speedy DPS in Exodial and the Tracer, they're going to be able to get this touch and the flip.
And what do you think, just ditching the Sojourn here at the end seems like a little bit of a last ditch, just trying to get back to the point, right? Play with the rest of the team, get a touch, but the Tracer Genji could be devastating.
They're going to downpour in this choke.
Backline. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have the downpour in the choke, you're going to have Orbital Ray, you're going to go for it. Blade. I mean, yeah, a lot you can go for.
Oh, QLM just gets destroyed. Orbital Wraith end up coming in a later one here for Team PEPS as the blade just popped like Ken. They got to deal with the sound barrier, but it might not matter to be fair. The Orbital Wraith is just going to do so much work for the blade. Ken doesn't end up securing a kill. In fact, sends Landon pretty low. And now the rest of Qadsiah just trying to touch the point. Haku Checkmate already dead as the beat comes in for FD Gods. Another downpour does hit the point, but that's it. Team PEPS are going to wipe out Qadsiah. A very early downpour in the choke point was good enough for a win. And a 3-0 for Team PEPS to start the series off and the season off strong.
Yeah, and even all the downpour just kind of connects with QLM. They get the kill on to the Sojourn. It's still massive, right? After that, it forces out the orbital raise quite early. Then you have a blade that comes through from Ken, and you're able to capitalize there from PEPS. They looked very impressive today.
They really did. Quite frankly, I was not familiar with their game. I'm a little disappointed in myself.
With,
no. Okay, no. Listen,
I wasn't calling you out, sorry. I wasn't calling you out. I'm just happy we saw our first Ajax.
I'm just saying, someone which may or may not be named Jack actually did initially have Qadsiah as the winner, and then he wanted to switch it up for variety's sake.
So, are you a true PEPS believer? Alive.
Yeah, it really
He's never left us. He's never left us. But yeah, like PEPS, obviously they're looking great. They didn't skip a beat, literally. They got so much great value of their abilities. They looked really well rehearsed. Their engages, their disengages. I'm very impressed. It looked very smooth. Now, did LQ push them to the edge and really test them? I wouldn't say that was the case. However, there were signs of life from that spot as well.
Yeah, I thought QLM coming in at the very end there did perform really well on the Sojourn. I mentioned at the very top that how are both teams going to utilize their subs kind of throughout the series and the season as well, because of course Team PEPS still soon on the roster as well. And I'm glad to see Qadsiah more than happy to kind of swap people in and out when things aren't working. And QLM, yeah, nice Sojourn play. You are going against Exodial, who's a little bit of a prodigy, but still performed quite well in a losing scenario too. I am very happy we saw our first Ajax of the season. I'm glad it was on day one as well. But regardless, I think FD God and the ability for Team PEPS to play at a very fast pace just kind of trumped Qadsiah in this series.
Qadsiah, right? They're not short on talent. Like, this is a very talented team. It just seems like that PEPS's teamwork and just kind of decision making, right, on how to engage, when to engage, and what to use, was just superior here today against Qadsiah. I think Qadsiah will go back and look at this series and probably think like, man, we had numerous opportunities to make this much closer. But PEPS, I mean, obviously a very talented roster, but the decision making and the way they played today was really impressive.
Yeah, what you were picking up as well, Zoe, there was Team PEPS, their knowledge of like when to back off, when to push in, because of how quick these comps are with Juno Speed Ring and Lucio Speed Boost as well. And you were saying it as well, Matt, as well, kind of adds on top of this, is like with the Hazard, it's like these fights are just chaining together. But Team PEPS is like understanding of like how far we can push and then pull back is really exceptional. I think it highlighted very well in this series.
Yeah, it's the veterancy. It's the experience of these players.
Yeah.
That one. That is just on full display right there. Ice Gnome is getting the honors of a player of the match. Ice Gnome has been around town for a long time as well. It's great to see him in the squad and performing so well.
Very well deserved. Yeah, the downpours, which are very hard to actually connect in these comps, did extremely well. Like, again, playing super far up in that last fight, even catching like support players. You catch what? It's a classic like grab scenario. It's like, if you catch one, it's actually okay. Like, that's good because you can just focus fire completely on one person and they just instantly die. So yeah, really, really well deserved. I mean, I think a lot of PEPS members could get it. I think Exodia also had a good game, but Ice on the new Hazard, yeah, looks clean with it, honestly.
And I do believe we do have Ice Gnome joining us for a quick chat as well.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm hearing things.
There we go.
Yeah. There he is.
Yeah, what's up?
Hello, Ice Gnome. How are you
Thanks,
feeling?
Alex.
First match in the round robin done. You must be pretty pleased with the performance of the team.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how we played today. We had some pretty rough scrims the last days, but today we locked in and it went really well. I'm really happy about how we played, everyone at the team. Except for the Ajax.
How are you guys? Oh yeah, except the Ajax. We caught that in 4K though, don't worry. We got that. We got the clip.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about the pick and ban? Because right now, with the new system completely, it's going to throw a lot of teams off, I feel like, especially teams that are more like, okay, we only want to play this style. How has the team been around this new format change?
I mean, me personally, I really like the change. I don't think it's like bad for us. It's pretty nice. I think. I was really we were all really surprised. We were like thinking, oh, what are they gonna do now? Because we were like winning the mirror, right? So we were really thinking, okay, what are they gonna do? Maybe like they ban Zara. Maybe they're gonna play Diva. You know, we were looking into that. But then, I mean, they just played the mirror again. So I mean, this match had like basically no bans, right? Like the bans were pretty. I mean, except for the first map, I guess we were forced to play Kiri instead of Juno. But other than that, like the bans basically had no impact. But what I really like about the bans is that even if you're losing the matchup, the meta matchup, you can like cheese it still, like by banning strategically, picking the right maps. Like, I think we're gonna get some really good matches this stage because of the bans.
I actually want to follow up on that. How does your team approach the hero bans? Is it more player-led, coach-led? Is it more reactionary, or did you come in with a playbook?
I mean, we had the Juno ban prepared, right? Because we wanted to play Kiri on that map because everyone really likes playing Kiri. But I mean, in general, when we're like trying to figure out what to ban, I guess it's like everyone is doing it. Like our coach is gonna do the end decision, but we all giving inputs and stuff. I mean, we didn't really have to use bans this match, but I think in future matches where we need it, we're probably just gonna discuss it and try to find the best.
Yeah, we were a bit surprised they didn't try and move away from the mirror there on that last map on the Suravasa. Your Hazard was really just crushing the entire series. What is it like, with that new tank now in the pool, right? The competitive Overwatch. This is the first time the OWCS season that we've had him in. So, what is it like playing the tank with that much mobility?
I mean, Hazard is like the most fun tank in my opinion. I really like playing him. I mean, you can just move around wherever you want. You can kill whoever you want. I just really like playing him. He's like my favorite tank at this point even. I mean, you can just pretty much play him everywhere, anywhere right now. That's why we were really expecting the Hazard ban on map 3. Because, I mean, we thought they would move away from the mirror. But, yeah, I mean, I would just really like playing Hazard.
Well, it shows. It's been looking great for you and the team. We can't wait to see more of that. So, vielen lieben Dank, Ice Gnome, and we hope to chat with you again very soon.
That's actually pretty good pronunciation.
Ich spreche auch Deutsch. Ich habe ganz lange in Berlin gelebt. Also, ja. And everyone watching right now is just like, what is going on? Super.
Das wusste ich gar nicht.
Back into English, please.
Okay, sorry.
Jetzt, das nächste Interview dann komplett auf Deutsch. Das nächste Interview komplett auf Deutsch.
Ja, wäre ich dabei, warum nicht?
Super. Danke dir fürs Einschalten und viel Glück in deinem